Okay, we were having some difficulty identifying the overall length. I'm going to do that a little bit differently. I'm going to go to our annotation tab and put a center mark in for each of these arcs. And then I'm just going to give the distance from center to center of those arcs, which is really important that you know that that arc is on that tangent to that circle right there. Not tangent to, but the center of the arc is right at that quadrant on that circle. So now if we pull a smart dimension from here to here, we don't have an overall dimension of the part, but we can take this dimension and add this times 2 because that would be that radius. So I'm okay with that. I'm going to take this center line and shorten it up a little bit and move this section information up a little bit here. Okay, so let's see if we've got enough information to make this part. I know the length of my threads. I know the size of my chamfer. I know the size of the hole that passes all the way through that represents this dotted line. Diameter of that cylinder. I know the diameter of that cylinder, overall length, and the length that these stick out on either end. Identified the size of my two holes. I've located those two holes. I've identified the size of these arcs. Probably should put a little note on these to it's kind of assumed that the part is symmetrical, but we could say times 2 and times 2 on these. So if we edit that text right there, come up in here and we can type a space, capital X with a 2, and I'm going to do the same thing with this one, space X times 2, hit OK. It looked like it moved that on me a little bit, so I'll put those back where I want so that they're not coming into my text block. Alright, so I believe we have all the information necessary to make this part. We know what type of threads are on that part. So we're good to go. I'll point out something else. This part has been modified, and I've got a description associated with it and a material type. So we're going to take a look at how that happens so that your templates will be populated from information from the part. So let's take a look at how that's done. If I right click on this part, and let me get out of my dimension command here. If I right click on this, I can launch that part. And if we go to the properties of that part, if we go to custom, notice that there's a tab here, and I've given a description to that. I've given information to that description. We can enter that right in. All right. We can also enter in the type of material and the mass of the part, which will populate those. So if you haven't done that, you're going to come in under the properties. You're going to go to custom, and we're going to put these in. Now, I don't believe I have these for some of the other parts, so let's take a look at what that would look like for example, the packing nut. So I'm going to go ahead and open this part. And you have specified the material, but under custom, none of these have any value. So under description, we're going to put, I'm going to make it similar to the name. Under material, we can specify material. Under, we need to add a new property, and that new property is going to be weight, and we're going to put in here our mass. And I think if we do that and hit save, when we go back to our sheet, it's now got a description, and it has a weight, and the material is correct. So go back one more page. Notice that I have no description for my lock nut. I do have a weight associated with it. Let's open this one up. Don't know if yours is showing that or not. Okay, so I've opened up that nut. I'm going to go into the properties, and if you don't have one of these, you can come in here and add description or whatever, or weight. If you don't have weight, you can come in, add a new one, and add weight. These should populate. For description, we need to come in here and type in lock nut, and do need to hit OK. Just going to go back in there and make sure that it stayed. It did. So I hit OK again. I hit save, and if all goes well, we should now have lock nut in our description. So notice that the information associated with the part gets pulled from the part and placed on the sheet automatically for you. The material, the weight, any descriptions. You can pull other information as well. So that wraps up this review.